Good evening. An investigation has been launched after a body was found in bushes alongside a road in Hampshire. Police sealed off part of a housing estate while they gathered evidence from a wooded area next to Griffin Way South in Hook. The death is currently being treated as unexplained. A father from Wiltshire who lost his son because of two speeding drivers is backing government proposals for tougher sentences. Ministers want the maximum sentence for death by dangerous or careless driving to be life. It comes just days after lorry driver Keith Mees was jailed for 6 years for causing the deaths of two men in Southampton. He was on his phone just seconds before the crash. While in October, Thomas Croker was jailed for 10 years for killing a mother and 3 children in Berkshire while distracted by his phone. Richard Gilby's son James was knocked down and killed while out with friends. The two men responsible had been racing each other and were jailed for 8 years.
It's devastated us as a family. I mean, James is the victim here. I mean, we're left to pick up the pieces. You know, we no longer live. We don't have a life anymore. They sentenced James to a death sentence, but in doing so, they sentenced myself, my wife, my daughter Victoria, to a life sentence of heartache and pain.
Having reflected on the matter, I think it is very clear that we need to give the courts stronger tools to be able to deal with the toughest and the most serious cases here, and that is what we're doing.
Campaigners have been protesting against planned closures of libraries in Swindon. They held a read-in at a local library to highlight their plight. The council's trying to save £1.5 million from its library's budget and wants communities to take on the running of them.
What we really want is the core purpose of libraries, access to literature and learning, to be safeguarded so that when councils are under strain, those services can't just be pulled away as maybe the low-hanging fruit when they're making cuts.
On to football now, and in this afternoon's big Premier League game at the Vitality Stadium, Bournemouth pulled off a sensational comeback to earn their first ever win over Liverpool. Bournemouth fought back from 2-0 down at half-time, with Steve Cook scoring a late equaliser to make it 3-3. But then, late into injury time, Chelsea loanee Nathan Ake got the winner to secure the Cherries' historic victory over Jurgen Klopp's side. Elsewhere, another late goal rescued Eastleigh a draw against Halifax in the FA Cup's second round. The Spitfires came from 3-1 down to secure a 3-3 draw and a place in tomorrow night's third round draw. Well, staying with the subject of football, and in the third Hampshire Walking Football Festival, it's been taking place in Southampton today. This growing sport's attracting a record number of players each year, as Richard Slee reports.
The beautiful game may be slower and shorter, but it is no less competitive. Walking football is one of the fastest growing sports among men and women over 50. So what's the appeal?
Fitness, really good comradeship, and days like today are just amazing. You know, playing a tournament, kitted out, you know, fantastic.
Don't you miss running?
No, because my knees wouldn't take it. And that's half the reason. Physically, you can't run anymore, so you love the game. It's fantastic.
The oldest player here today is 73-year-old Peter McCrory, who reckons he can play the game for at least another 10 years.
It's good physical exercise, good for my balance, good for my overall health and mental health as well as physical health, really.
As well as no running, the FA in Hampshire has adopted a few other rules aimed at avoiding the need for the magic sponge. They include 3 touches only and keeping the ball below head height.
Obviously, with the older age bracket, injuries could be a bit of an issue looking on later in life, so we've just got the safety at the forefront of our minds, really, with the laws.
Walking football shows that there are still some glory days to be had on the pitch before the sun finally sets on many a footballing career. Richard Slee, ITV News, Southampton.
Well, let's have a look at the weather forecast now with all the details. Here's Philippa.
From puddles to paddling, driving through Europe. Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
Hello there. Well, it's certainly been a chilly old weekend right across the region, but for the coming week things are set to change. Certainly a lot of cloud on the scene, rather breezy at times too, but on the plus side some fairly mild temperatures heading our way. So we can see just what's been going on. High pressure has been very much in charge through this weekend, giving the dry, settled and cold theme, but over the next 24 hours that high pressure will edge away eastwards. Winds take a more southwesterly turn, so things will become more changeable but also quite a lot milder than they have been, and that process will all start, albeit slowly, overnight tonight. So through this evening some clear spells allowing a widespread frost to develop very quickly, but as the night progresses thickening cloud and areas of mist and fog will encroach from the southwest, and we'll see the first signs of those temperatures recovering, probably getting back to just above freezing by the end of the night. So into tomorrow morning, a dull murky start for many, some mist and fog around really taking its time to clear, but despite the dull conditions temperatures will continue to recover, particularly down towards the south where we'll see highs of 8 or 9 degrees by the end of the day. But for the coming days, still plenty of cloud on the scene, but at least some frost-free nights to come. Bye-bye.
Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian Weather.
Thanks very much, Philippa. Well, that's just about it from the weekend team. We'll be back with Good Morning Britain tomorrow morning from 6 a.m. Do join us for that if you can. But in the meantime, have a very good evening. Bye-bye.